What's up, everyone? How you doing? Episode number 114 on the way. Super excited to be here with you guys again. It's a blessing to be alive. And let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Another episode, another step forward, another step moving in the right direction. Something that we need to pay attention to a little bit more of in our lives is moving in the right direction. You know, a lot of the times we ain't moving in the right direction. So welcome to the Luke Mind Power Show. It's a blessing to be here with you guys. I hope that you're going to enjoy the next 30, 40, 50 minutes, however long I am connected to this experience. Because, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to go for. And I always start the podcast episode not knowing exactly how the conversation is going to go and what I'm going to talk about exactly. But this episode is about being yourself, right? Because you didn't come into this life to become somebody else, right? Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. I'm sure you've heard that quote. Or, be original. You didn't come here to be a copy of somebody else. And sometimes when we're going through this journey of change and transformation and healing, and if you're tuning into my podcast for the first time, welcome to the Luke Mind Power Show. If you've been listening, congratulations on taking action. I know how much action I've had to invest into my own journey of evolution and listening to podcasts. I still do, right? And so I want to congratulate you because this is the kind of work that's necessary, I believe, in order for you to become a lot more self-aware of your potential, right? Of what's possible for you. Okay. Big truth. Don't compare your journey to mine. Your journey is completely different. Be grateful for where you are, because if you continue to take action and move forward and trust your process, you're going to be really inspired by who it is that you are and how you grow, because you're going to be looking back 2 months ago. You're going to look back 3 months ago. You're going to look back 6 months ago, and you're going to be like, wow, look how much I've grown. Look who I was. And this is the prolific experience that you get to go through of evolution. You know, stagnation is the dead zone. Like it's darkness if you ain't moving. And this is where you start to feel fulfillment. You know, even where I'm at right now, my mind sometimes travels to a place of, I want to be over here. I want to achieve this. I want to be there. And then when you focus so much on the things that you don't have and what hasn't manifested yet, then we basically lose the truth of the beautiful experience of what we're going through right now. So don't forget about this beautiful journey and this opportunity for you to experience what you're going through right now, because we focus so much on the things that we don't have, and we forget about all the beautiful things that we do have. Okay. So episode number 113, this is the Luke Mind Power Show, and this is Luke Mind Power speaking. And it's just made me think about, where the hell did you get this mind power from? Where did you get this Luke Mind Power from? So just to give you a quick recap of how I actually came up with the name, and why I actually stuck with it, and it resonated with me, and it was just like, yes, this is who I am. This resonates with me. It's connected, because there's also the part, right, where you can go, well, wow, I'm recreating myself, redesigning myself, right, remodeling myself, reframing my mind. Okay, this is all possible for you, because up until I was 33, I didn't really feel like I was me. There were parts of me that were missing. There was a deeper search. There was a deeper meaning for my life. There was a deeper essence of me that I hadn't discovered yet. And that's why I say you can be inspired by my journey, but also understand that there's a lot of you that you don't know about yet. And if you continue to step into this journey of self-discovery, just remember this: it's not going to burn you. It's only going to burn what you're not. It's going to continue to help you to let go and release of the things that don't serve you, so that you can make more space for blessings to come into your life, so that you can make more space for positivity, so that you can make more space for the truth of who you really are, and to be open to more possibilities, more opportunities, and more happiness, right? And more of who it is that you don't know yet. And that's exciting to me because I didn't know that I would evolve into this person, but there was something there that I had to believe in. I had to believe in myself. Okay. And so part of the reason of me changing or, adding my name of Luke Mindpower on all my social media platforms was the fact that I didn't go to therapy. I didn't go to see a psychologist. I didn't go to see a counselor. I didn't go to seek external support to help me to give up my addictions. Okay. And this is not to discredit anybody who has a therapist or, it goes to counseling or anything like that. But this is just my journey, right? This is what I did. Okay. Because I have, I work with people now, I have clients, I help people. Okay. And I have my own coach as well. And I've invested in many different programs along my journey as well. And I still will continue to invest in myself. So there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. Don't ever feel like you're too good for that. No chance. I've invested so much time and money into my personal development. But in terms of my journey at the beginning, all right, because if you know me, then you know that I used to use cocaine a lot. And that was my go-to. That empowered me. I felt fucking good. I felt like the shit because I was snorting coke, right? But the truth of the matter is that when I gave that up, you could have thought, well, fuck, you've been doing that for like 7 years, man. Like you got a problem. Like you're addicted to it. So maybe you need to go and seek help. Maybe you need to go and see a therapist or a psychologist or someone who can fucking go to fucking rehab or some shit, right? To give it up. And I didn't. I just made a fucking choice. I made a conscious decision to say, hey, you know what? This shit is unhealthy. It's weighing me down. I'm not going in the right direction in my life. I need to let go of some of the things that are weighing me down, that are slowing me down, that are not adding a positive vibration, right? It's a temporary vibration of positivity, of confidence, of self-esteem, of making me feel like I was better for that period of time where I was under the influence of that drug, right? But then you would come down and then you're fucking you again. And then you're like, fuck, I have to wait now for finishing work so I can go back home and have a few more lines and some drinks. Then I'll feel fucking high again. Then I'll get that confidence again. So that's where Luke Mindpower came from, was because I managed to do that and make decisions, make a choice that I was going to change and that I was going to do things differently. Because I realized that in order for my life to change, I needed to change. In order for me to get different results, I had to start doing things differently. So this is the power that you have of being able to realize that in your life where you're at right now, there can be certain decisions and choices that you can make that's going to help you to actually realign yourself with your purpose, realign yourself with your destiny, realign yourself with your truth, realign yourself with your happiness so that you can start moving in the right direction. And so towards the end of 2018, when I quit my government job and I started getting more on social media, I met a friend of mine from New York. His name is David Power Talk. Shout out to you, David, bro. You're fucking amazing, man. I appreciate you. His name is David Power Talk. And he reached out to me when I was just starting. We connected and he sent me some voice messages, and I really looked up to him because I like listened to his speaking and he was so inspiring and motivational. And like, for me, he was like a superstar. For me, he was like a Les Brown or a really a successful Tony Robbins, like one of those, motivational speakers, really empowering. And the fact that he was reaching out to me, the fact that he was sending me voice notes on Instagram, if I scroll to the top of my Instagram chat with David Power Talk, you will be able to hear the conversations that we had back in 2018 of what I was sharing with him and how he was motivating me and believing in me when I didn't believe in myself yet. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who are going in your direction, right? One of the beautiful quotes that I have that I love to speak now is stop taking advice from people who haven't been where you're going, right? And he was living and breathing this mindset, living and breathing this motivation. And so get around people like that. Get around people that are going where you're going or have been where you're going, right? Because that's going to propel you. Because sometimes you need that, because sometimes you don't fully believe in yourself yet. And you need those reminders. You need that extra support, right? That's why your environment is so powerful. Because with whom you surround yourself with is whom you become. That's the truth. So when I connected with David Power Talk, that gave me the inspiration because I still wasn't Luke Mindpower. I went from 22 Luke Francis 22 or something on Instagram and something else. And then when I met him, I just somehow came upon this name and I realized, how did I stop using cocaine? I was like, mind power. Like it was the mind. It was me using my own will, my own choice, my own decision. And so I just went Luke Mind Power, and I was like, fuck, that clicked. It sounded perfect. So that's how I came up with Luke Mind Power. And again, there was the perception of the mind, of self-doubt, of fear, of judgment, okay? Fear of judgment, of fear of people judging me or people looking at me like old friends or people that I'd hang around with for many years, and worrying about like what people were going to think about me when I started this journey. And that's why this whole journey is really about being yourself, right? And you can be anything that you like. And if people don't like it, it's not your fucking problem. Fuck them. If they don't like it, don't fucking change for other people so other people can be happy with the way that you are. And I know that this is so relevant, especially in relationships. A lot of the things that I talk about, I notice are a lot about relationships because we tend to lose ourselves to others, whether it's friendships, family, relationships, intimate relationships. We tend to lose ourselves. And that's the one thing that we need more of is having that confidence and having that authenticity of who it is that you are so that you can be the best you, so that you can live your life according to your own truth. Because the truth is, there's nothing wrong with adaptation. And when I say adaptation, I mean, when you're in a relationship, especially when you love someone deeply, you kind of mold yourself a little bit into them. And they also do that to you if it's a healthy relationship, right? Because you tend to sometimes like things, because when you're in love, it's bliss, like you want to do things that are similar or wear things that are similar, right? Because it feels good, okay? And you like to make each other happy, and I get all of that. And I think, but what I'm trying to say is, don't lose yourself, like don't lose your identity. Don't try to conform to somebody else's kind of lifestyle and forgetting about how you live and who you are, because that's something that we're very, very prone to doing when we don't have a strong, confident relationship with ourselves. And then basically what you're doing is you're losing yourself to what somebody else wants from you, and you didn't come into this world to conform. You're a creator. You came here into this life to create, right? You didn't come here to follow what everybody else is doing. You didn't come into this life to be dictated or controlled by somebody else or by somebody else's expectations of you, right? You came in this world to live according to the beliefs of your own true self, the expectations of your extraordinary self, right? Your own opinion matters. No, nobody else's opinion matters. Doesn't matter what other people think of you, what they want you to do, how they want you to think, what they want you to wear. That's all bullshit. You fucking do what you believe in and you keep going that way. And people don't like them, fuck them. It doesn't matter. Okay? The right people will come into your life. But first, you got to prove to yourself that you can be this person, because this is who you truly are. And this is where you kind of have to break out of the vortex um, of where you're held back because of other people's expectations and beliefs and what other people think you should do. And especially in relationships, because when you're yearning for that attention, when you're yearning for validation, when you're dependent on someone else, when you want to feel wanted, right, you lose yourself. And especially if that other person wants you to be a specific way or do specific things or wear specific things, or they're not happy if you're not wearing this or not wearing that, or not looking a specific way. They're not happy. Oh, you should be wearing this, or you should be, and it's like you can never satisfy them, because there's always going to be something wrong. If they can't accept you for the way that you are, you shouldn't be with them. And this is why it's so important for you to step more into your truth and authenticity, and don't settle just because you're too impatient to wait for better. There's freaking billions of people out there, right? But because we went through certain experiences when we were children and teenagers, we've lost our sense of independence, our sense of confidence, our sense of being full. There's parts of us that are missing. There's pieces of the puzzle that are not put back, right? We're not full. So this is where you do the work on yourself so that you can be full, so that you can then attract someone who also is authentic, who also is full and whole. And it's not dependent on you to be something else for them to feel happy, because they're able to appreciate the essence, the beauty of who it is that you are as being a sovereign being, as being different, right? You're not here to become somebody else so that somebody else is satisfied with who you are for them. Super important. And we do that a lot. We change ourselves for other people. And it's like, fuck that, man. Yeah, I know that some people say, well, when you're single, when you stay single for a long time, or when you go through a experience of solitude, when somebody else comes into your life, then it's hard to, adjust, because you're so used to like doing things your way. Right. And the truth of the matter is there's so many things in life that are complicated, that are challenging. There's a problem everywhere, and problems are a sign of life. Okay. This is what makes life fulfilling, is because you continue to persevere, you continue to work through things. And one of the biggest epiphanies that you can have, or revelations that you can have in your life, especially in relationships, is that relationships only work if you do. Like communication, honesty, respect, appreciation. Sometimes we want to be right all the time. And it's like, man, stop trying to be right and try to communicate and understand each other and have empathy for each other, instead of trying to push all the time of, no, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is what I believe in. This is how it should be done. And that's the biggest thing as well, is that we lack that empathy. We lack the ability to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and to actually be able to feel and see them for who they are and what they're doing and why they're speaking like that, and understand them. So communication is something that is so lost in relationships these days, because a lot of the times we're speaking in our heads, but we ain't speaking the truth. And the more that you're able to actually have those harder conversations, the more that you will be able to be clearer in a healthier relationship, in a more conscious relationship. And it's part of the journey of giving and receiving, giving and receiving. If you don't give and you don't put time in to be able to establish that that genuine relationship, then it's not going to grow. It's not going to flourish. And communication is something that's very difficult. But once you communicate, there's always room for understanding, compromise. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be. But I think that's where the journey of fulfillment is in a relationship, is where you're able to constantly work through different things and have that understanding and have that appreciation for each other's essence. Not trying to push each other in certain directions of, you should be like this, or you should dress like this, or you should think like this, or you should watch these things. It's being able to realize that you're different. You're different. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. You're not supposed to be this one way. And that's something important that we need to become a bit more aware of, because, we try to change people. If you're not happy with the way that someone is, well, then don't be with them. Stop trying to make people be different. Stop trying to make people change. And that's why it's like, well, yeah, be yourself. If I was to let myself get lost in the opinions of others and what other people thought of me and worry about that shit, I wouldn't fucking be the person I am. I'd be dimming my light. I'd be shrinking myself. What? For other people's satisfaction? Fuck that. Whether it's parents, whether it's your family, close family, whether it's your friends, whether it's people on social media, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you believe in. What matters is what's within you, your truth. And the more that you follow that truth, it may be cliche, but it's so true, man. The truth, you've heard this quote. I'm sure you have. The truth will set you free. Your truth, not anyone else's, yours. So I hope that you hear this and that this kind of reminds you and helps you to become a little bit more aware of, oh my God, you're so right. Oh my God, like there's something deep down in me that I'm not doing, that I know I need to be doing, that I'm stressing about, that I'm depressed about, that I'm unhappy about, and I'm afraid. And deep down, I know the truth. Deep down, I know what I need to do, but I'm scared. And I feel you. I feel your pain because I've been there. And I know it's hard. And I know it's hard to act. That's why I say indecision is the cause of all worry, because we don't decide. We don't act. We ruminate and ruminate and continue to think and think and think. And it's just like, fuck, stop thinking. Take action. Easy for me. And many people will say, it's easy for you to say, Luke, right? But when you take action and you continue to move, eventually, at the beginning, it's not easy. I get it. But you can continue to complain and you can continue to say things like that. It's easy for you to say. And of course, it's going to be easy for me to say because I've done the work. I've done the work. And there's still so much more work for me to do. That's why you keep seeing me show up. That's why you keep seeing me take action. That's why you keep seeing me posting podcasts. That's why you keep seeing me posting content, right? That's why you keep seeing me show up. That's why you keep seeing me dancing. That's why you keep seeing me moving forward, growing. Because there's still so much more work to do. And I don't think I'll ever stop. Because when you do what you love what you do. And when you love what you do, you can't stop, won't stop. You enjoy it. You thrive off it. You're fueled by it. This is the difference. Like imagine you waking up every single day and actually enjoying what you're doing. And I think this is the hardest thing to step into, is having that trust in yourself, having that faith, having that belief in yourself, knowing that, your current job right now that you're doing that maybe you don't love, it's not the end of the road. This is just temporary. You came here and you're listening to this podcast because you are waking up to your greatness. Because there's a greater version of you up ahead. And that version of you is cheering you on. It's going, come on, man. I know who the fuck you are. You're powerful, man. You didn't come here to work in this fucking job, to do what you don't like. You didn't come here to work at this place that doesn't give you fulfillment. That's the truth. I know there's more. There's more from you that you don't know about yet. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you just don't give up. It happens when you continue to persevere. It happens when you give enough. It happens when you continue to repeat and stay consistent. That's when everything that you seek starts seeking you. So this is the journey of progress, but it's about doing what you love. It's about tapping into the truth of who you are, because you have a gift, right? Your story is more powerful than you can imagine. And you have one. I know you do. I know you've been through some shit. And you have a voice. And your voice can change lives. That talent, that intelligence that you have within yourself, that you're doubting whether or not you're good enough, or you're very good. You're really powerful. But there's a few things within yourself in order for you to step into more authenticity, more greatness. You got to give yourself permission. That's the truth. You got to give yourself permission to shine. You got to say, hey, you know what? This is my time. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes to me. I'm going to say yes to loving me. I'm going to say yes to showing up for me. I'm going to say yes to having my own back. I'm going to say yes to my power. I'm going to say yes to my truth. I'm going to say yes to me more. I'm going to say, you know what? I need me more than you need me. I need to take care of me now, because I've taken care of a lot of others. And I'm not going to run away from me anymore, because I'm too amazing. And I haven't given myself enough credit. I haven't given myself enough time. I've been available for everyone. But how much have I spent with myself? I've forgotten about me. I've given so much love, time, energy to the world, but I forgot about me. I forgot about how important I am in my own life. So this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to step more into really being yourself. Coming back home, saying yes, giving yourself some permission. Like, get yourself a notepad and write yourself a permission slip, like at school. Remember at school when you needed to leave early and your mum and your dad would write a permission slip or a letter to the teacher to say, I give permission to my son? Or when you were going on an excursion, there would be a fucking letter that the teachers would say, take this to your parents so that they can sign it, so that you've got permission to get on the bus so that you can go to the aquarium. Does anyone resonate with that? Because I remember that shit. And this is where you write yourself a permission slip. This is where you go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to write myself a letter that's going to say, I give you permission to love you a little bit more every single day. I give you permission to set healthy boundaries. I give you permission to say no to other people. I give you permission to spend more time with you. I give you permission to keep the promises that you make to yourself. I give you permission to stop making excuses. I give you permission to be more committed. I give you permission to be more kind to yourself. Because remember, when you make you strong, that will spill over to everyone around you. But first, you got to work on you. First, you got to give yourself that love. First, you got to spend some time with you. First, you got to build a relationship with yourself. First, you got to stop running away from you. First, you got to stop thinking that somebody else is going to fix you, and knowing that the person that is most intelligent and aware of your story is your fucking self. That's what you got to realize. Like, you know you the best. Stop trying to hand it to someone else for them to fix you. They ain't going to fix you. Shout out to the truth. The truth is really powerful. And the more that you trust the beautiful essence of who you are, the more that you're going to step into power, greatness. And it ain't about you trying to be better than anyone. It ain't about you trying to be a dictator or, stand over people. No. It's just about you being yourself, man. And be proud of who you are and shine your fucking light bright. Shine it. Like, show up for yourself more. Speak your truth. As much as it hurts, those hard conversations, they're the ones that are going to set you free. They're the ones where you're going to heal the most. There's a lot in you. You got a story, man. You got a lot that you've been through. And this is your time to realize, wow, the more that I don't speak, the more that I don't share, the more that I don't express, I'm going to continue to suppress. If you're not speaking it, you're storing it. If you ain't speaking it, you're storing it. And that shit gets heavy. And the reason why it gets heavy is because you think about your life. You think about everything that you've gone through. You think about the amount of information that is stored in your subconscious mind. You think about your whole life, your whole existence, everything that you've taken from TV, from conversations, from relationships, from your life, from school. Every single thing that you have gone through is up here. And it's fucking there and it's consuming you, right? And you see, hence why I heal so much is because I continue to speak. I continue to express. I don't suppress. I continue to reveal. I continue to heal. I continue to move. I continue to act. And the more that we stay in our heads, the more that we get consumed with everything that's happened, and we're losing. We're being derailed. Speak. Communicate, share, and connect more with yourself. Because maybe the start, there might be someone out there, and maybe I'm speaking exactly to you, that you're like, yeah, but I don't have anyone to talk to. Bullshit. Yes, you do. You got you. Yeah, but that's weird. Of course it's weird, because you're not used to it. You haven't done it before. Everything's fucking weird when you haven't done it before. Everything's unfamiliar when you haven't done it before. Everything's uncommon when you're not used to it. When you don't practice it. One of the greatest things that I did last year, when I was being triggered a lot and I was emotionally charged, and like there was a lot of pain in me, a lot of emotion, a lot of thoughts, like what questions, why? And I was really going through a really challenging experience with living at home with my parents. And one of the things that I had to do was realize that in order for me to express, I started to and heal. I basically started to type. So I got on my laptop and I started to express and I started to write. I wrote about 15 pages because I was really traumatized and I lost myself, lost my identity. I was triggered by something that, my mum did, and I was just completely depressed. It's like I lost Luke mind power, disappeared, and I became a child again. I was so depressed and I was like in my bed for like 2 weeks straight. I didn't want to leave my room. I was just so um hurt. I was really traumatized and hurt, But the first thing that I did was I just went onto YouTube and I typed in how to heal my inner child because I knew that I'd lost my identity. I lost myself completely. I was so hurt, depressed. And then what I started to do was type. I started to write everything that I was feeling. I was just fucking writing it. And I was like, it was like, I remember writing, I feel so much pain and so much anger towards my mum. I feel like I want to kill her. That's how much pain I had in me, that I was hurting so much. And I was just like, fuck. And I was writing, I was typing on my laptop and I was just writing everything that was coming through my head, everything that I was feeling. And the crazy thing that I did last year as well, after I wrote that, a few weeks later, I actually read all of that to my parents. And that was part of my healing as well. Because I had to release, I had to like get it out, So there's different forms and different ways of communicating with yourself, and there's a lot of possibilities for you. But again, it's all action. Whether it's journaling, whether it's typing on your computer, whether it's speaking to yourself, having conversations with yourself, asking yourself questions and answering them. Because again, you'd be very surprised if you actually start to communicate with yourself, because you'll find that you actually have all the answers. And because we're not used to that, it's uncommon, it's unfamiliar. It feels weird because you think like, why would I ask myself? That's stupid. I normally would just call my friend and say, what do you think? Right. And it's like, well, hang on a second. You have a lot of intelligence, and yes, it's good to, that's why we have masterminds, for example, right? And you're able to communicate with other people and get their ideas and their opinions so that you can learn things that maybe you didn't know, or think other people have experienced different things and you can learn from them. Okay. But again, when you're doing this kind of journey of like self-inquiry and healing and learning about your trauma and trying to understand the things that are missing or the things that you went through in your past, as to why you are the way that you are, this is a really a process of really questioning and releasing and feeling your feelings and being open and honest with yourself. And that's why this is so powerful, because you're actually connecting with yourself. Like, you are being so fucking honest. And that's the start. Like, the start of your transformation is when you start becoming really honest with yourself and you start realizing, okay, I've got nothing to defend, nothing to hide, nothing to protect. How the fuck will I show up now? Pure truth. Bang. I start writing about it. I start sharing the deepest fucking rawest truth. Nothing to hide, nothing to protect, nothing to defend. I'm just being real raw. And this is where you start to expose all the things that are within that may be weighing you down. There's so much there from you that you've been through that needs to come out. And the more that we hold that in there, the more that we are weighed down. It's heavy, man. It is. It's heavy. And this is the part of you that, you want to touch on. Okay. And we can choose to be ignorant about it, because ignorance is bliss. And when you're ignorant about things, this is where you stay in your comfort zone. You don't grow, right? You stay in the same vibration because you think, no, it's in the past. I don't need to talk about that. I don't need to work on that. Don't worry. What's in the past is in the past. Like, when you're driving, don't look in the rearview mirror. Look in the fucking windscreen moving forward, right? And it's like, yeah, I don't believe, right? I'm speaking to you as a coach, right? It's not about looking in the rearview mirror and consistently looking in the rearview mirror, because if you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to fucking crash because you ain't looking where you're going, right? But this is about having the courage to go, hey, you know what? There's a few things there in the past that I've put Band-Aids on that I expect to heal, but I don't want to reveal. Ain't shit going to change if you don't change. And ignorance is bliss, because it's in your comfort zone. Because doing the hard shit is uncomfortable. It hurts. but it's fucking liberating. And you deserve that. You deserve the freedom. You deserve the peace, the clarity, the authenticity. But you got to give yourself permission, straight up. And the more that you do that, the more that you will grow in confidence with yourself, and you'll harness your power. And, once you release a lot of that, you make space for you to be more of yourself, because there's a lot of that you're carrying that's really not you. It's not who you truly are, right? You've taken on some of these traumas and some of these suppressed emotions, and you're holding on to it because of those relationships, because of maybe neglect or abandonment or abuse in the past. And you're holding on to that. And it's like, man, that shit's heavy. And you keep holding on to it. You don't release it. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to weigh you down, man. How do you expect to sprint and run and move faster towards your dreams and to live your life in a state of fulfillment and bliss and happiness and joy when you've got so much negative, dark energy there? It ain't healthy. It's not going to support your journey, And so it's not a process of me being ignorant enough to say to you, or arrogant enough to say, nah, just fucking do it. Like, just speak it. Like, just come on. Like, you can do it. Like talk about this shit, Nah, it's not. There's a level of safety that you need, right? There's a state of being in a place, an environment that you feel safe, you feel understood, you feel loved. And that's one of the greatest teachers as well, is love, is knowing that when you're in a space, an environment of love, right? And you can be heard and appreciated and cared about genuinely. This is where the healing really expands, because all of a sudden you realize that, wow, I don't have to hide myself anymore. I can just be. Oh my gosh, like this is what it's all about. It's like this just release of tension, of stress, that I don't have to, I can take off the mask now. I can be myself here. Like, people get me. And that's the beautiful place of surrendering and inspiration, because it also takes you being in a beautiful, healthy environment where you get to witness other people and you get to be inspired by other people and you get to hear other people's stories, and that kind of opens you up to like, oh, wow, if that person can go through that and do that, wow, I can do that too. And, that's one of the greatest statements that I've read from Nipsey Hussle is the highest human act is to inspire. And it's powerful, man. And it's a beautiful gift that I get to do this and speak my truth and share my story with you guys, in the hope that there's a bit of energy that I send your way, bit of love, bit of positive energy, bit of motivation to help you to keep moving in your life in the right direction, not in the wrong direction, in the right direction. So shout out to you if you're listening to this. I freaking believe in you. I know that maybe you're not where you want to be. I know that maybe life hasn't turned out the way that you thought it would by now for you. Maybe you thought you'd be a little bit further ahead. Maybe you thought that you'd be married by now. Maybe you thought you'd be in a healthy relationship. Maybe you thought you'd have a really good job by now. Maybe you thought that you'd be a lot more successful. Maybe you thought you'd have a lot more kids. Maybe you thought that you would not be living where you're living. Maybe you thought you'd just be happier by now. And sometimes we got to go through that. We got to go through these experiences that are not what we wanted, but they're necessary. They're necessary in not something that maybe you can fathom or understand right now, but as you'll continue to take action and believe in yourself and trust yourself and step more into your truth and give yourself permission to shine more and fuck what people are thinking of you, you'll start to realize that I needed that. I needed that lesson. I needed to go through that pain. It didn't make sense to me right now and back then what I was going through, but I needed it. As hard and hurtful and painful, it's part of your story, right? You're not a victim of it. You're a fucking warrior. You're a gladiator. You always come back. You always survive. And what you went through doesn't define you. It just makes you fucking powerful. That's what it makes you. So be yourself. Everybody else is taken. And if I think about myself 5 years ago and how much I compared myself to others or looked at other people, whoever they were, whether it was my cousins, whether it was friends, and yeah, you kind of mold yourself into how other people live, or you attach yourself to their kind of lifestyle or how you want to be, and you do whatever you can to kind of be similar, have similar things. And now, as I broke out of that funk of comparing myself to others and being so heavily influenced by others, and that's why I say, if you're listening to this, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, my podcast, remember, what I do and what I share is not for me to give to you so you can copy me. You're here to live your fucking truth and be yourself. I'm just here to give you a little bit more awareness. That's all it is. It's just awareness. It's so that you can move in the right direction in your life, not so that you can go, oh, this is how Luke Mindpower does it. I'm going to do it the same as Luke Mindpower. No, you're not fucking me. You are you. You are authentic. You are very distinct. You are very unique. And so respect that. And own it more. It's pretty crazy. We think about the amount of people there are in the world, and it's like we're all so unique. We're all so different. We all think differently. We all have different ways of feeling emotions and different ways of seeing life. And it's not about putting yourself down or thinking that, shit, and that's why I'm saying, like, let's say that all of a sudden, use this analogy, right? All of a sudden, everyone fucking disappeared. There was no one else in the world, just you. Who would you be? Because you'd have no one to compare yourself to, just you. So then the perception and the judgment would fuck off. And you wouldn't give a fuck anymore because there's no one around. So who would you be? Because that's a lot of the parts of this life on this journey of like social media, especially, and advertising and marketing and Hollywood and movies and shit, is that we look so much at other people's journeys of where they are, their success, and we forget about the process. We forget about the journey. We forget about how much work that person put in to get to where they are. And we look at the end result, not appreciating or understanding the journey. And it's like, man, like where I'm at today, where I was 12 months ago, where I was 24 months ago, when I look at that, I'm like, man, it makes sense now. You got to trust the process. You got to enjoy the journey. You got to realize that you have to learn through the journey. There's so much to learn. You can't skip the process. There'll be no fulfillment in the end if I give you the end result. There's no liberation. If I just say, oh, you're fucked, you want me to heal you? Okay, wake up tomorrow morning, drink this pill, and you'll be healed. There's no liberation. There's no fulfillment, because the fulfillment is you proving yourself wrong, because you are your own worst enemy. Like, your mind is screwing you every single day. No, you can't do it. No, don't do it. No, you're not good enough. But you got the power, the conscious intention to go, you know what? I know that I keep hearing these negative thoughts. I know that I have all these doubts constantly, but at the same time, I'm also very aware that I'm better than that. And I can do this. And I can override those thoughts. I can give myself more permission to love me a little bit more and come back to love more. Because when you come back to love, love supersedes everything, supersedes the negative thoughts. Light trumps darkness. And when you love you a little bit more, man, you start fucking doing exactly what you need to do. Because you start to realize, wow, I really love me. Like, okay, what would I do if I really loved me? Would I do what's right, or would I do what's wrong? If I really loved me, just like you love someone else, you want to help them and do what's right. You want to make them happy, right? What would you do if that happened? If you started doing that for yourself, how would you be? Powerful stuff, guys. That's my time, man. I'm such a blessing to connect with you. Such a blessing to speak with you. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. If you haven't joined the Dream Chasers Facebook group, click the link in the show notes below. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, the link is in my bio. Join my Facebook group. It's free to join. There's an amazing training that I have in there on overcoming fear and self-doubt, as well as some different resources that I have, which I give away for free. And they are on self-confidence and self-love and self-esteem. So if you haven't joined and you're not a member of the Dream Chasers Facebook group, click the link in my Instagram bio or in the show notes in the podcast. I look forward to seeing you inside there. There's so many amazing people inside the Dream Chasers. And that's really a project that I'm also putting together and been building for the last couple of years. And I mentioned this on one of my lives on Instagram the other night, that in a couple of years' time, and if you're listening to this, I just want you to pay attention to this. In a couple of years' time, I'm making my dreams come true by becoming, by speaking. When I speak, you speak it into existence. And I really believe in the power of thoughts, and thoughts become things. What you focus on expands. And so, right, one of my biggest and greatest dreams, which I will make come true, is to have one of the biggest personal development and transformational companies in the world. And the purpose of that is just to help you completely transform your life. And in turn, what that does is transforms the world. And this is really about authenticity. This is really about you being your best self, you living your dreams, and being happy. This is what this is about. It's about happiness. It's about peace, and it's about love. It's about unity. So rest assured that I'm not going to give up on you or my dream. I'm living my dream, but as I live, I create. As I live, I give back. And one day, very, very soon, you're going to see a billboard on the highway in Times Square in Europe somewhere, and it's going to say the Dream Chasers Personal Transformation Conference coming soon. And you're going to remember when Luke Mindpower used to say this a couple of years ago. And I'm going to make it come true. So if you're not part of the Dream Chasers, click the link in my bio or in the show notes below and join, because I want to meet you. I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to see where you're going to be in a couple of years' time when you come to the conference, when you come and we get to meet. And I think that's going to be liberation. That's going to be powerful. That's going to be extraordinary. And I can't wait. Like, for real. I know there's a lot of you, but I can't wait to meet you. I don't care. I'll go through the whole fucking crowd. I don't give a shit. You know, hugs, like hugs all around. Yes, Rebecca, you know it. You know it, Rebecca. All right, guys. That's my time. It's a blessing. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you so much. Um, we're going to finish up, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. No, I'm not finishing yet.